These hairstyles are snatching your edges. If you want to grow your edges back or you want to prevent your edges from going on a vacation, this video is for you. I'm going to tell you all the hairstyles that are snatching your edges. If you don't know me, my name is Angelica, aka Angie B. I post videos twice a week, every single week. We're getting back to this routine, and on Sundays we post a little refresher, something different. So if that seems interesting, consider subscribing. The subscription button is right down there, as well as the bell. So make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post. So the first hairstyle that might be snatching your edges. It's the clean girl bun, okay? Now the clean girl bun it's been viral for a while. It's been a thing for a long time, but like, when you just add a really nice aesthetic name to something, it goes viral again. This is just a super sleek bun, which is like the sleekest bun you could ever dream of getting in your life. That's the clean girl bun, okay? Whether you have natural hair, relaxed hair, naturally straight hair, however your hair is, you can find a way to get this bun down, okay? Now, no matter what kind of hair you have, it's probably snatching your edges. Now, the reason why I put this at number one is because it doesn't just snatch your edges. It also breaks your hair where the hair tie is. So here's what happens, okay? When you tie your hair super tight, really down and super sleek, you usually need to wet it either with water or some kind of product so that it can really lay super flat. So it's usually a mixture of like some water, maybe a conditioner for some people, and then some gel. The problem is when you style wet hair, it can make your hair break and snap. So your hair is already very fragile when it is wet. Now, if you have naturally curly hair, obviously we know that we detangle our hair when it's wet compared to when it's dry. If you have straight hair, you detangle your hair when it's dry compared to when it's wet. Styling the hair, that's a different thing. When you pull the hair tight and you make it lay super flat down, and then you have your brushes that you're using, even if it's a nice soft brush, still the friction of brushing your hair and make sure it stays in that perfect tight place where you want to put it, really, it can not only break your edges, it can also pull some of them out. The brushing part is what would pull them out, and the tying part would probably make it break. And then where the hair tie is, where you've tied the hair, also that part of the wet hair, even if you're using a satin scrunchie, I have a satin scrunchie in my hair right now, it can still make your hair snap, okay? So make sure you avoid this hairstyle like the plague. Now, if you want to do this hairstyle once in a while, absolutely you can do this. Even once a week, to be honest, you should be fine. But if you do this often, you will see the side effects. And the problem is, because it's a super sleek hairstyle, you might not even notice the damage until it's too late. Like it could be 6 months and you're like, my hair doesn't look as great as it usually does. I don't know what I started doing recently. It's the bun, girl. So if you still want to do something like the clean girl hairstyle, the best bet you can do is just to try and make it sleek without you having to wet it or gel it down. As you can see, I do have a sort of similar look to like the clean girl bun, but this is very loose, okay? These twists are so loose. Also, my hair is in twists. Can you see the hairline? There is a little bit of Eco Styler gel that is just brushed. It is not hard at all. Like if I was to start sweating, this will immediately just frizz up. So it's a very low tension even when it's tied back. So this is like the real double duty clean girl bun, sort of. My hair is in a protective style. The ends are off. It is just folded up like, you can still get the look without going all the way. Now the second hairstyle is one that I personally love. However, it can cause a lot of damage in the long run, and it's similar to the clean girl bun because it does double damage. This is the sleek half up, half down. This hairstyle has gotten so popular again in the past, I would say maybe few months. This is a hairstyle that I would say is timeless. I have been doing this hairstyle since I was like 5 years old. I'm not even lying. And I'm sure you have too. I'm sure your parents have done this hairstyle because it's just a timeless hairstyle. It looks good on almost everyone. But recently, it's been going super viral again as like an everyday thing. And people are also doing it with extensions. So you do your high pony. And usually if you're going to add some kind of extra, extensions, you need to make it like super tight and sleek so that it doesn't move around and like bunch up when you're adding the extra hair. Now the issue is the damage to your hairline is like double the damage you get from the sleek clean girl bun, because now the hair is all up here. It is all focused here. You have pulled it. It's gonna be even tighter than stretching that hair to the back of your head. It's closer to the front of your head, so it's tighter. Now the double duty comes in at the back of the ponytail. When you put your hair in a half up, half down style, that little part right where the ponytail is, right at the center of your hair here, or wherever the back of your half up pony is, that hair is pulled so tight. And then if you add extensions on top of that, a lot of people have experienced having a bald patch right in that section there. So not only will your edges be damaged, you will get a bald patch. So again, it is a hairstyle that you can wear in a lower manipulation way. You don't have to tie it too tight. You can figure out a way to get a similar style with a lower manipulation using a satin scrunchie too. Also, not doing it too often, even if it's in a low manipulation way. If you don't do it too often, it will give you better results and you're less likely to lose your hairline. This third hairstyle is another timeless one that goes in and out of fashion but has been in fashion since it was invented. And this is the leave out weave, okay? Everyone has sort of come to terms with the fact that no matter how thin your lace is, no matter how amazing you are at laying your lace, the truth is you can still see it. No matter how people say, what lace? Can you see my lace? Unless you have an untrained eye, once you see it, you can't unsee it. No matter how amazing, how HD the lace is, the fact is it's not your scalp. You will be able to tell, especially in person. In videos and pictures, if you become a master at the blend, it is like 95% undetectable. You will not see that lace. But in real life, even if you're good at it, especially if you sweat or anything like that, maybe you put a little bit of bronzer that's a little bit darker than the lace in that area, whatever, you'll be able to tell. And for it to make it at least, 80% difficult for people to tell, it means you have to put in a lot of work. Maybe you have to do the bald cap method, and then you have to really blend it, and you have to use glue, and you have to do all these different things. And it takes a lot of energy. And people have realized that, the leave out girlies had it right the first time. It just is the way to make it look the most natural, provided your hair blends with the extensions or weave that you're using. If you have leave out in the front and on the sides, it just makes the hair look more natural, way better than a wig, way more believable. It flows easier. It's less manipulation. I know it sounds like I'm promoting the leave out, but here's the thing. Leave out causes a lot of breakage. It will snatch your edges in the form of breaking them, where all the hair in the front will be like this long. And I'm speaking from experience, because when I had relaxed hair, from the time I got my first weave, I never got a closure wig type thing. I always did leave out. And while my hair looked nice and it would blend perfectly, after a certain time, all my hair in wherever I would part it usually, and the front line of my head, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much castor oil and oils and whatever I used, the hair would be this long. And that is because no matter what hair you get, you probably don't have the exact same texture, so you probably have to manipulate your hair a little bit more. If it's a curly wig, it is most likely a little bit less manipulation, so a less chance of breakage, but still breakage. Now, if you have a straight wig and you don't naturally have hair that is that straight, you will most likely have to be flat ironing it all the time to sort of maximize and make it match the rest of your hair. Now, flat ironing all the time may just be flat ironing it like once or twice a week. That's still a lot, especially on your hairline, because your hairline is already the weakest part of your hair. But another thing that people underestimate that causes a lot of breakage and damage to the hairline is the friction between your hair and the track, right? So most people don't like to leave too much hair in the front because, one, you want as little hair as possible to make it look natural and to maintain. But also, should you get any damage, you don't want to damage too much hair. So let's say you have like just a distance between here and here, this little section of hair all the way down the front. The track is gonna be sewn right here. So every time you brush that hair to blend it with the wig, you're brushing it over the track. Doing it once or twice won't make a difference, but doing it every day, it is gonna break your hair. So even if you're not using a lot of manipulation or heat to match the textures, the friction of your hairline with the tracks will cause breakage. In the same way, if you part your hair in front, if you part your hair on the side, wherever you part it, that friction brushing your hair over and blending it with the extension or the weave, it can cause breakage. So leave out looks amazing. If you're not on a hair growth journey, if you don't care that much about your edges or whatever, leave out is probably your best option to make it look natural. But if you're trying to grow your edges back, if you're trying to prevent them from breaking, this might not be the best option. The next thing that can snatch your edges is bleach and hair dyes, but specifically ones that make your hair lighter. Ones that make your hair darker can still break your hair, of course. However, bleach and hair dye that makes your hair lighter is more damaging because darker colors just deposit the color onto your hair. But lighter ones strip the color out of your hair and then deposit color, or some people just bleach without adding any color or whatever. But the moment it lightens your hair, it means it's first taking color away and then depositing more color. This does more damage to the bonds of your hair, and one of the most noticeable things that you notice, aside from like maybe a slightly damaged curl pattern, which is usually very minor, but if you notice a lot of people that go blonde from natural hair, their curl pattern becomes a little bit looser. That's just slight damage from the bleach. But what's worse is usually the dryness. It makes your hair so dry and brittle and really prone to breakage. And the place where you can usually notice it the most is the front of your hair, again, because it is the weakest part of your hair. Now, whether you want to wear your hair with extensions and just like add in the wefts that match your hair color, or just naturally coloring your hair, of course it can break all your hair, but really noticeably on the hairline. I'll give you some examples of some people who have this noticeable like damage in the front of their hair. The first one is Beyonce. I don't know if you saw any recent videos of her after her tour. Obviously her hair was like a little bit reverted, but like it's blonde in the front, and she was wearing Tiara Walker, another fellow YouTuber. I'm obsessed with her Instagram. She's like awesome. She's recently gone red and she has a leave out wig. I hope you can't hear the heavy rain in the background. Anyway, she has a leave out weave and it looks amazing. She's gone like a red, like a burgundy red. It's like, I want my color to be like that. It looks amazing. However, I have started to notice that breakage that you get in the front from having a weave that I used to have. Another person who has severely damaged hair is Kim Kardashian, which honestly, I even thought it would look worse with the amount of time that she's bleached her hair. Of course, she wears extensions all the time, but if you see her real hair, it's like very short and super damaged because she has gone platinum blonde, and you can see the thinning in the hairline, and they usually fill it in with some kind of like powder, you know, those hair powders you can use to sort of make your hairline look full. None of them have traction alopecia, but they do have a damaged hairline. Now, chemical treatments that can almost guarantee you traction alopecia is when you do it only to the front of your hair. Now, I know this sounds like a stupid idea, but I've done this before. And once the leave-out wigs become even more popular than they already are, you will see people doing this again. And this is just chemically processing or bleaching or treating just the front part of your hair to match whatever extensions you have. So like if you want to be blonde for a long time, you just bleach your entire hairline and maybe the part where you leave your hair out blonde. Or you will relax that hair. If you wear straight hair all the time, you're like, you know what, let me just relax this little front part, and then the rest of the hair will be fine. Even if you naturally have relaxed hair, you might relax the front more so that you don't have to constantly like flat iron it to make it match the texture. Yeah, this can be a bit of a thing, okay? So watch out for doing treatments that are only to the front of the hair, like bleach, dye, color. It's a mess. It will guarantee some, if not breakage, traction alopecia. Now the sixth one, it's one I've talked about before a lot, and this is laying your baby hairs every single day. Just the direction and the friction of brushing your hair every single day can slowly rip out those hairs and cause a lot of damage. And you might be thinking, but Angelica, I know a girl who lays her baby hairs every single day and her hair is not damaged. Well, she's probably not watching this video, so that is none of your business. Some people's hair can handle it. If you're already having issues with your hair or you're trying to prevent them, of course, occasionally, if you do it, there's nothing wrong with it, nothing will happen. But if you do it often, it's gonna snatch your edges. Which leads me to the next thing that's unexpectedly snatching people's edges and they don't know because they think their edges are protected: lace front wigs. If it is not the glue, it is the humidity of constantly having something covering your hair. If you're wearing a glueless wig and you think you're safe, you're not, because the friction will still take your edges off. And the gluing thing, if you don't wash your glue off with water or oil, whatever kind of glue you're using, it will rip your edges out. I see people literally yanking their wigs off and then they wonder why they have no edges. That's why. But if you want to know an oil that I make that's really good specifically for the edges, you can watch this video right here. Hit my face right there to subscribe if you did it in the beginning. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one.